Okay, good evening and welcome to the Maher Report. I am Cheryl Maher. This is Matt, my co-host. The Maher Report is live on Manchester TV, Channel 23, every Wednesday at 6 p.m. The phone number to call in is 413-0223. The show is re-aired every Friday at 1, Sunday at 6, Monday at 8, and Tuesday at 2:30 p.m. You can also download this show on ipmnation.com. You can also find me on Facebook. Tonight's show we are going to talk about welfare, but first I would like to make a personal statement. I want the viewers to know that this show is not about me. This is about you. I am and will continue to examine the bills that legislators are putting through in Concord. I will speak to you in layman's terms so you can understand the laws and how they affect our lives. The bills that are being passed in Concord directly affect our lives, and our state is in serious trouble. A little over a year ago, I chose to go public with my story. I received hate mail. I also received a lot of support, and I thank those people for that. It was a very lonely and difficult time. I did this for many reasons, and now I am sitting here where I can be a voice. And I want to say that my voice can change things in this state, and so can yours. I have seen personally how the justice system works here in our state, and I would never want my worst enemy to see what I have seen and the depths of despair that have come with it. I have a wonderful family and 4 beautiful children that I miss terribly. My apologies to those that I might have offended here in New Hampshire and across the United States to Utah, Arizona, and Idaho. With that, let's get to our show. Let's talk about welfare.
All right.
I don't have a guest today, but I did call the commissioner, Paul. I am so bad with last names. I cannot pronounce last names for the life of me.
Really?
Paul. He's the commissioner, Paul Martenio, and I talked to him yesterday because he's the city welfare commissioner.
Okay.
And I don't know if you know there's a difference in all the welfare areas, that we have a town welfare system. Did you know that?
I did not.
Because my
no.
advisor did not know that there was a town welfare system, there's state, and there's federal.
Oh, okay.
So he was surprised that I went into the town Manchester welfare office yesterday because I didn't know there was a town. A lot of people don't realize this, but there is a town welfare.
Okay.
And those are for people that obviously live in the town. You know, if you live in Derry, or if you live in Londonderry, or where, or anywhere, you can go into the town and get help if you're in a bad position. And I asked him a few questions, and I went in there, and let me tell you, I went in there, and there was a couple people there that were, wanting to get help, and so I interviewed them, because I
Sure.
think that personal stories are so important for how we can change the state, and where we're at, and what we need to do to change the state. And if
Yeah.
we don't tell our stories of what's happened to us, and what, the mess of the system, and all of these things that people endure daily, then nobody's going to make any changes.
Right.
So, so I went in there and I talked to these couple. There was a girl in there, and she has been on state aid, and she was homeless yesterday, and she has 2
Okay.
children. And I asked her, I said, so you're homeless. Where are your children? And she said they're with the babysitter. And I said, okay. So do you have a place to stay or not? Because that's where I get, are you homeless or not? Or do you have a place to lay your head?
Right.
And she said, yes, I have a place to stay, but I do need to find a place to go. And she said the housing, Section 8, 6 years waiting list.
Yeah, I've heard that.
6
the
years waiting list,
is
okay?
huge. Yeah.
So I asked her a couple more questions about being on the system, and she was, by the way, if you want to call in, the number here is 413-0223. So I asked her, I said, so being on the system, has the system helped you improve your life? Because I think that the intention of welfare is to help people improve their life, get off welfare, and be productive citizens. I don't know, Matt, do you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Okay,
That's
that's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
And I've been in welfare lines, I've done this, so I have
Okay.
some personal experience with how this works, so we're going to review that
Yeah.
in depth. We may have to go into next week if
Sure.
if we get a lot of phone calls and stuff, because I
Sure.
got really great comments on my Facebook today, because I posed a lot of different questions.
Okay.
So she said, yes. She goes, I went to massage school. She went to Hester College and went to massage school. And I said, but are you working? She said, no, she can't find a job. So my thought was, well, is there anybody in the system that, does job you know, if a whole bunch of people are doing massage therapist, is there a job opening for massage therapist, or are we just putting people through school for what they want to do? Or are we helping them say, you know what, there's not a lot of jobs in this area, maybe you could try this and then have massage on the side, because a lot of people do massage on the side,
Right.
you know, besides their full-time job, whatever
sure.
it may be.
Or they start part-time.
Or they start
eventually.
part-time and build
Yeah.
up. And I think that there needs to be like a job placement. I'm not sure if there is. I really don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just giving you the information that I'm thinking. So then I talked to this other girl, and she was there for town welfare, looking for help to pay her rent. She got an eviction notice. She is on state help with food stamps, and she does work. She has 2 children, and so she was there because she got an eviction notice. Something happened with the account, and she just
Sure.
needs that rent to be paid. And so I did talk to Paul, and I asked him a few questions. And the questions that I asked him were, you know, is this budget, you know, we have a new budget that's going into place July 1st, and a lot of people are screaming about this budget. So I asked him, is this affecting your department? And he
Right.
said, no, this is not affecting his department. 2 people retired last year, and 1 person is doing the job of 2 people.
Okay.
And he said, so that's working out fine. We also talked about, you know, places in Manchester that are for low income. If they're in trouble, there's the New Horizons shelter. We talked about Angie's Place. There's the YMCA that a lot of people use for childcare and that kind of program. The YWCA is for domestic violence. And I'm going to tell you right now that I have been to YWCA, and there was never 1 woman available to talk to me.
Oh, really?
Oh, I went to the
Wow.
door, knocked on the door, nobody was there.
No kidding.
So, you know, what I'm doing is saying, you know, these programs may be there, but are they really effective?
Right.
You know, are they really helping and affecting people for good?
Right.
You know, if you're saying the YWCA is available, is it really available? I'm not really sure
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
So, so we talked, and so that's why she was there. And there's also, you know, the Farnham Center, of course, is in Manchester. The Serenity Place, that's for drug and alcohol abuse.
Okay.
There is a couple halfway houses in Manchester. And that's really all that's available for people. And, oh, he did say that they do have emergency housing for people that go in there and are completely homeless families that need homes.
Okay.
And they will find placement for them.
Yeah.
So that's the town. They will help you. And if you need help with fuel or electricity, they will give you the information to go out to there's like community support places in Rockingham County. They have, you know, a place you can go for electric help and heat help. But the thing is you have to meet these requirements.
Right.
And that's where I go, wait a minute. Let's talk about these requirements. What does this mean?
Right.
So, so I pulled up, actually, you know what? I'll get to that in a second. I pulled up, and you have it in front of you.
Okay, yes.
This is the application for assistance for state help. Okay?
Yeah.
Actually, you know what I'm going to do first? Is we're going to talk about the questions I posed on Facebook today. That would be a really good idea.
I haven't
Okay, let's
seen
do
those,
that.
so I'm
Did you
very-
see them?
I have not seen those yet, so I'm very
Okay,
interested.
okay, yeah,
to
let's
see.
do that. All right, so the first one was, should welfare recipients be drug tested? Okay, there's a question. Should welfare recipients be drug tested? And I can tell you that 99.9% of the people that commented on my wall today were absolutely yes. There was one person that said, you know what, I went to the hospital the other night or Memorial Day weekend, and they drug tested me without me even knowing. He said, I felt like I
Really?
was being violated.
Yeah, that's.
You know, that because he was in pain, something happened, he was in an accident or something.
Okay.
So he said that they drug tested him and they didn't ask his permission. But apparently this is part of the norm in ERs.
Really?
Well, why do you think?
Well, because they want to find out if there's something in your system.
If you're a drug addict,
Yeah.
if you're there drug seeking.
Oh, okay.
That's why. So we have this system of distrust. And
Yeah.
I believe that as I'm looking through all of the requirements and the guidelines and all the people that I know and have talked to, the system has made people to be liars and dishonest. We know people are getting welfare that don't absolutely have to have it.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
There's always abusers. Yeah.
we know that people are selling their food stamps for money or drugs or whatever they may be doing.
Yeah.
And I think that that's tax money going, that's your money
Right.
going into their hands.
Right.
And I think that that really just has to be looked at.
Absolutely.
I don't know. What do you think? Do you think people should be drug tested? How do you feel about that?
I lean yes, but there's something very uncomfortable about it.
Why?
It's just there is a privacy issue. I understand the logic, which is why I think I'm okay with it, because like you said, it's taxpayer money. If we're going to use taxpayer money to help people, we should know that they're not drug addicts.
Or using the money for drugs.
Or using the money for drugs, right.
Yeah.
But there is a part of me that says, ooh, I don't like the government drug testing people. Like I said, I'm okay with it, but I'm not. There's a part of me that's a little uncomfortable with it,
Okay.
and I'm not even. I realize I'm not explaining very articulately.
Well, you know, we can go through
what
more
it
of
is,
the
but
list.
it's almost hard for me to put it into words what makes me uncomfortable with it. But if I had to vote yes or no, I would vote yes.
Okay. Okay. We're going to go further into, we'll get back to that.
Yeah.
Okay. And by the way, if you want to call, the number is 413-0223. We would like to hear from you. The next question I put out there is, should welfare recipients be required to do community service to give back?
Absolutely.
Okay, and I got all
Yep.
absolutelys
Yep.
on my Facebook page,
Yeah.
the comments.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And and I really think too, before we pick this up, I think that okay.
Oh, good.
I think that in regards to that, I know that when I work, I feel better.
Yeah.
When I'm doing something, I feel better.
Of course, yeah.
Okay, do you want to pick this up? How do we do? Go
Oh,
ahead.
we just, yeah.
Hi, welcome to the Maher Report.
Yes, great subject you got there. Just wanted to mention to you that I agree with drug testing for these people who are getting food stamps and other benefits from the government. If they're going to be using my tax money and I'm helping them out, I want to know where that money's going to. There is a lot of abuse that's going on in different cities. Like, to give you an example, have you ever seen Lawrence, Massachusetts?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah.
I
Who
try
hasn't seen Lawrence?
I try not to see it, but I've
I
driven
know you
through
try
it.
not to go there like for a vacation
Yeah,
or something.
I'm not going to hang out there, but yeah.
Anyways, what I wanted to mention to you, if you go on, Lawrence, Massachusetts used to be a great community. I've talked with people there that owned houses, that worked there. Essex Street and Broadway used to be fantastic places to go to in the winter, during the holidays. They had lights down there. Now if you go down there, there's boards on the windows, graffiti all over the place, bars on the window, garbage all over the place. But the strange thing is, I'm going to get back to you on the welfare thing. If you look every corner that you come to where there's a store, it says, we accept food stamps, we accept EBT cards or whatever.
Yep.
Yep.
Those people down there are not working. It is basically, literally, a welfare city.
Yes.
Everywhere you go, it's food stamps, food stamps, food stamps. So, and you see these people, they're smoking cigarettes. I don't know if you're aware of this, but like a pack of cigarettes in Massachusetts, I think it's close to $10 a pack.
Yes, it is.
And
It's
I'm
very
saying to myself,
expensive.
here I
Yeah.
am, driving through this city. Every corner there's an EBT or a welfare, except food stamps, and these people are smoking cigarettes at almost $10 a pack. So obviously you know what's going on. They're going into these stores.
Yeah.
The stores are getting a kickback on this. They're buying their booze, they're buying their cigarettes, and the taxpayers taking up on this bill. Massachusetts is just about, I think it's already bankrupt. Another thing that I wanted to cover here with you is also Social Security disability. There's a lot of people on that right now that are, it's total fraud. Just to give you an example, take a piece of paper, write this down. Google search Obama's aunt being interviewed by WBZ TV. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but she is being interviewed by a reporter from WBZ TV, and she was supposed to be deported 3 times. She's illegally here. She finally won her stay, but in the meantime, she was on public housing. She was getting food stamps and other benefits. Now she's getting Social Security disability.
Right.
This is amazing. The lady was supposed to be deported 3 times. She finally wins the case, and she's getting rewarded for it. She's getting
Yeah.
Social Security disability.
Right.
It's unbelievable. I don't know if you watch the TV, you'll see lawyers on there. Do you have problems, anxiety problems? Have you been denied your Social Security benefits? We can help you.
Now let
The
me
Social Security, the Social Security.
can I give you some information real quick? If you don't mind, I want to tell you something about how the state works with the Social Security. If you apply,
Sure.
if you go into a welfare office, and if you want Medicaid, the only way that you can, that part of that requirement is you have to file for Social Security. Did you know that? That
I
is
did
part.
not know that.
That is part of the requirement. If you go into a state welfare office in New Hampshire, I can't talk about Massachusetts because I don't know, but I'm assuming it's probably the same. In order to get Medicaid, you have to file for Social Security disability. Now, you probably won't get it, but you still have to file. Now, the point I'm making is this is part of what is going on, that the system is keeping people poor. You know,
Well, think of this. That's right. It's keeping it poor. But not only this, think of this one. Think of how many illegal immigrants that are going into the hospitals and getting health care because they have some kind of emergency come up. The hospital's never going to get paid from them. The taxpayer has to take up on that. It's totally ridiculous. And they get these benefits. It's unbelievable that we're issuing them licenses. Look at what's happening in Manchester right now. We're taking refugees in. Manchester is on a budget right now. They're making major cuts. They have I don't know if Matt, you can help me with this. I'm not sure about it, but I heard that there's like 100 translators in the schools. Have you heard that?
No, I have not heard that. No.
Well, this is what I heard, that they're actually, I think on the Joe Kelly Lavasha show, I believe it was either Ginter or Ted Gass had said something to the fact where there's 100 translators. Now, just think of this. We're bringing all these people in. The teacher has to slow down. Say you got 5 or 6 different people in the classroom. You've got to have a translator there. That's coming out of the taxpayer's pocket.
I know.
Now, you think of this. You've got the refugees that never seen a toilet, never seen a shower. You have to educate them. You have to clothe them. You have to give them food stamps. And what happens when they go on their own? Let me tell you something. They don't go on their own.
Oh.
They go to the state, and the state puts them on welfare. And then they go to school, either to Hesse College or they go to New Hampshire, Southern New Hampshire College, or one of these schools, to educate them so they can get on their feet while there's people working day and night holding 2 or 3 jobs. And mothers and fathers can't even send their kids to college, but these people can walk right in on the red carpet and get all these benefits thrown to them just like Obama's aunt. This country is going downhill. And if we don't do something quick, Manchester's going to turn into Lawrence. It's going to turn into a hellhole. And it already is going that way. But we can't let this welfare corruption go on any longer. I know I've been talking for a while, but I think it's a good subject. So
I appreciate your call. Thank you so much. And going back to Obama, he had a press conference today. Did you watch that?
No.
He's my favorite person to watch. But I'm going to paraphrase real quick of a quote that he said, and just as a paraphrase, because I don't want somebody inboxing me saying you quoted him wrong, because that happens.
Of course, yeah.
He said, and this is just a paraphrase: if something does not work or does not make sense, change it, and we will save billions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so common sense tells me that when I'm going into, if I have to go to a welfare office, and I'm just speaking, if I was the person going into the welfare office, which I have, and I'm going in there, and I'm applying for Medicaid or food stamps or emergency money or whatever, common sense tells me that if I meet the financial requirements, then why am I not given Medicaid? Mm-hmm. Do you know that to get Medicaid, you have to go through a process of signing over all your medical records to some board in Concord or wherever they are, and and then they review your records, and then you have to go see their doctor
Oh, really?
in order to qualify. So besides the
Yeah.
fact that we're supposed to be able to, if you have a certain amount of income
Right.
and you have the lower income, anybody should be able to go in and say, this is my income, I need health insurance. But instead, do you know how long it takes to be notified if you get Medicaid?
I imagine it's a long
60
time.
to 90
Yeah.
days.
Yeah.
And in that process, you are pulling out records, you're signing forms, you're gathering. It's like,
And hoping you don't get sick.
And hopefully you don't get sick as you're
Right,
doing this. And
right.
the stress and the energy of going through this rat race of paperwork,
Yeah.
that doesn't make sense
It's
to me.
our government at work.
It's our government at work. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you that seriously, if you meet the financial requirements, why am I going through a process through Concord
Yeah.
for them to, and then I have to apply for Social Security disability in order for them to even look at the
Okay.
Medicaid application.
Yeah.
Hello? What if all I need is medical insurance to
Right.
get me through for a time until I can get it on my own? That's what it's supposed to be for.
Right.
You know, I did have somebody comment today because I posed another question about food stamps. Should recipients have to show ID? Because there's a lot of
There's a lot of fraud.
fraud
Yeah,
going on. Yes.
absolutely.
Yep. Right. And this is our caller coming back. Hi, Steve. You're back.
Hi, how you doing? One thing I also wanted to mention to you, I called in on the Ginger Ferreira show, and I mentioned to her, just to give you an example, what I think is complete fraud. You take a look. I mentioned Glenn Willette's name. Glenn Willette, this guy was running for mayor. He was running for mayor, and if he got the job, he was going to control the whole city. Now, he has.
You make him sound like a crime boss.
In his mind.
No, listen to this. Yeah, I know it. He was gonna run the Glenn's way. But anyways, this guy is on Social Security disability. He was running for mayor. He runs the Queen City Examiner.
Oh.
He also, listen to this. He also has something to do with MCAM. I guess he's on the board up there. He takes care of the cameras and all that. Now, this guy's getting Social Security disability. He claims he can't work, but he's doing all these things. Now, the taxpayer is paying for him. It's the same thing with Ginger Ferrer. Watch her show. She says she has a hard time breathing, so she can't work in these offices because she has asthma. She has a hard time breathing, but she was doing pretty well at that desk today with the fan on. And she said something also, she hurt her leg one time. And that
dear.
helped her out on her disability. But here are these people that come up and they complain about how the city's wasting money, it should be doing this and should be doing that. But at the same time, they're getting a check from me and you and all the taxpayers of America so they can come on these shows and they can claim their disability.
Absolutely.
I think it's completely, it's got out of hand. And these people and this system is wrecking this town.
Well, let me tell you something, Steve. The word is on the streets, and let me tell you, I have talked to many, many people, and I have them in my vault, and I don't reveal names, but I will tell you that people will tell you how to get Social Security by how to lie to the system. How you do it is you do this, and then you have to say this. And if you have to go up and see their doctor, make sure you tell them that you're very, very depressed. And
Exactly.
Exactly. I mean,
I've
this
talked
is
to people
how.
like that. And they said the hardest thing to get
Yep.
on disability on is a physical disability. I heard if you claim you're mentally crazy or something's
Yep.
wrong with you with anxiety and you can't face people, whatever,
Yeah.
you can get on just like that. All you need is a psychiatrist and tell them that you're agoraphobic or whatever.
You know, we should have
Get on really quick.
We should have Bob from, What About Bob, that movie. Remember Dr. What's his name? And the patient followed him around. Remember he was a...
Bill Murray.
Yeah, Bill Murray.
And,
remember
Richard
that?
Dreyfuss.
That
I don't
was
remember that movie, no.
that was a funny
That's
movie.
a great movie.
But anyways, what I'm saying to you is they know the scam, and you see the lawyers on TV every day. I think there's a commercial on every maybe half hour, either Massachusetts or in New Hampshire.
Binder and Binder.
Have you been denied Social Security disability benefits? Don't worry, we got a great track record for getting people their Social Security.
That's Binder and Binder.
Just like you said, they know what to say, they know how to say it, and when to say it, and they get on it. Now just think of this. By the time we hit 65 years old to retire, is it going to be around there? It's not going to be around there. A new thing now, too, I heard, is getting the kids on Social Security disability. They say the kid's got ADT or ADD, whatever you want to call it. Once the kid is diagnosed with a mental disorder, the mother gets a check every month for the rest of this kid's life, while she could be a crack addict and not feeding this kid, but she's still getting a check, she's still getting her rent paid, and she's getting food stamps.
Actually, that happens now.
Like you said before, there's all kinds of gimmicks that's going on out there, and they know how to do it.
But you know what? That's happening now, Steve. That happens now. Children that are disabled can receive Social Security checks. If your income goes up, the head of the household income goes up, then the child can get cut off. But if the family stays on low income, that child will continue to receive Social Security. That is.
Now, do you realize one thing? By you talking about this and me calling in or whatever, did you know we're considered? We don't have any feelings for people.
Oh,
That's
I
the
understand
thing that they throw in your face. You don't have consideration for anybody. You just self-centered, whatever. I know. I'm self-centered. I'm paying out of my check every week so you can have fun. I'm self-centered. Thank you very much, you know.
And you know what? I really think that the intent of welfare was to help people get on their feet so they can work in society. And it's just gone too far. You know, and I'm going to tell you a little bit. My income last year was under $15,000. And I will not file paperwork to get Social Security. I refuse to do it. I do need health insurance, but I won't do it because I'm not going to go into this game of the system. This is a game.
What do you mean to file for this Social Security?
No, because I need health insurance. So I went in to try to get health insurance, and I have to.
You make too much. If you make $15,000, aren't you making too much money?
I don't know. I couldn't even understand what was going on in there. It's so confusing.
No, I think you're actually making too much money.
Oh, is that what it is?
Before,
Oh,
I think
okay.
You have to be completely poverty-ridden.
Well, I don't know what that is, but that's pretty, low income. But
Now, do you have a kid?
Well, we don't need to talk about me right now. That's all right. I just wanted to bring that up. But, I just wanted to say that this is a reality that happens where people really do need help. And I've worked in the system. I had my own business in dairy for years and years. And I go in there saying, I just need some help. And they're like, oh, no, you got to fill this out and 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 this out. And it's a joke. It's a freaking joke.
What's your first name?
Cheryl.
Cheryl, just think of this. Here you are, an American citizen.
That's right.
You've paid taxes all your life, okay? Yep. You've helped out the community. And just think of this. A person like Obama's aunt can walk into this country illegally. Here you are going through all this freaking paperwork and a problem. She walks in here, supposed to be deported, and she's getting Social Security disability. You have to watch this video.
I will.
You're not going to believe it. And she's arrogant about it, too.
I will. I'll read it. And you know what? If you're still listening, right, after you hang up, are you still watching?
Yeah, I'm still watching. You seem like a sweetheart. So
all right. I'm going to read this about the notice to immigrant families for the welfare. It says, if you get help with health care or food stamps, it will not affect your immigration status. If you or members of your family used or received Medicaid, Healthy Kids, or food stamps, it will not affect you or your family's members' ability to become U.S. citizens. However, if you get cash assistance such as TANF or help with the cost of nursing home care, it might create problems with you becoming a U.S. citizen, especially if the benefits are for your family's only income. Before you apply, you may want to talk with an agency that helps immigrants with legal questions or contact the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. So clearly, we're going to give you the world, but if you want to become a citizen of the United States, we got to talk about what benefits you're going to get after that. That's basically what this is saying. So people want to stay here and be immigrants, illegal immigrants instead of becoming citizens because the benefits get cut off.
Right.
That's the sad part. Because
it's pretty sad, though. I mean, but if you watch the landscape of Manchester, New Hampshire, and the other surrounding towns, the more we keep letting refugees come in here, and the more we keep this welfare kind of state, we're going to see more crime. We're going to see more problems in schools, more gangs. Manchester's going to turn into a hellhole. But anyways, I'll let you go. Nice talking to you.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Steve. Bye.
I do want to interject something
Yes, please
just
do.
quickly about because in regard to he was talking about Ginger and Glenn, and I just want to say I'm personally very hesitant about making those kinds of judgments that he was making without knowing all the particulars of someone's situation. So I just kind of want to say that in their defense. Maybe they shouldn't be collecting whatever they're collecting, but I don't know all the details of what they've been through and what they're dealing with. So
Yeah,
I
no,
just
that's
kind
fine.
of want to mention that because he got a little personal with that with those two. But-
Thanks, Matt. Okay. Next caller. Hi, welcome to the Maher Report. Hello.
I want to hello. Yeah, I want to comment on something.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I was at welfare today to file recertification for food stamps and Medicaid. I'm a 58-year-old citizen of the United States, and I've worked all my life.
Okay, that's good.
And I need to know, because all of a sudden, I did everything by the book. I reported my Social Security because I wanted to work. But my leg, for some reason, I had been falling, and then I ended up on Social Security disability. I don't know the real reason why I filed for it, but I don't know what they okayed me on, because I was turned down 3 or 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
But my problem now is that my leg have gotten so bad, and I beg to change doctors because I want to get back in the work field. I worked all my life from a young age, and I'm 58. And now they're cutting my food stamps, in which I used to get $91 a month food stamps when I was only getting $6.95 from Social Security, in which when I first filed for it, they told me I would get $700-something. But then they said New Hampshire has a rule that everybody in New Hampshire gets, if you have SSDI and it's below a certain amount, everybody gets $6.94.
Okay.
Well, I have a daughter that's in sports. I have to pay a large amount because she takes track, cross country, a lot of things. But now I went to recertification today. They're cutting my food stamps all the way down to $47. And I said, how can that be when my rent went up from $130 or more thousand because I was homeless, and my rent went up over $200.
Okay, let me stop. Let me
they
stop.
finally got disability.
Let me stop you right there.
Okay.
What is it exactly that you want to do to make your life better?
Well, I want to get back into the work field.
Okay.
I've been begging them. I tell the Medicaid people, don't you have a program? I say, I've been saving you guys money. I think about America being in debt, And for over 4 months, I haven't taken any drugs. I quit taking the mental health. I had high blood pressure. They told me I was going to die.
Okay.
But I've been praying. I said, God, let this body line up the way you made it. Because my daughter, my 16-year-old daughter said, Mom, all the medications you've been taking, you are changing. I was forgetting everything. I was really going crazy. They had me on so much medication.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to stop you just again, because that's going to be another show that we're going to talk about medication and doctors and how they prescribe. But honestly, I really kind of want to know, what can you do to get yourself to a position where you can be better and not have to rely on the system?
Well, if they would give me surgery on my knee, because they said the bone was gone.
Okay.
And last night I was crying because I'm having cramps in my leg. I said, listen, I've saved you guys plenty of money by stop taking drugs and eating right. Why can't I get Medicaid to go ahead, do the surgery on my leg so I can get back into the work system? Mm-hmm. I've worked all my life. I'm 58 years old.
And what did you do? What did you do
The little
before?
money I get a month.
What did you do
I am
before?
drowning in debt.
Okay, what did you do before you went on system help?
I was a bus driver. I drove 5 years in Florida, and I've been here. I drove Manchester Transit, Bedford, Londonderry. Unfortunately, I'm black, okay? And
That's not
I noticed
unfortunate.
in New Hampshire, I've had problems with jobs. I mean, I've had people that say, "Oh, I'm not firing you. I'll pay you for 2 weeks. just find another job. And I said, but I'm the only black here. Unfortunately, I've had problems, and when Human Rights told me I had a case, but I still lost my job. I still didn't
Sounds
get
like a
compensated.
separate issue.
So
Okay, that's kind of a separate issue. So what I kind of want you to do is go online and find out a program that can help you get going and take the bull by the horns and just do what you got to do to get off the system, okay?
yeah, but how do you find people that's going to help you and represent you to do that?
You have to represent yourself. This is America. Nobody has to represent you. You can do it yourself.
Yeah, but I had 5 jobs in less than 2 years in New Hampshire. Doesn't that paint a picture? I'm from the South, and I know what discrimination is.
You know what? I don't even want to talk about discrimination because everybody in this country has been discriminated against at one time or another. What I want you to do is stand tall and do what you want to do and find a way to get out of your hole, okay? And you can do that. All right? All right, I'm going to hang up now, and you sound like a sweet lady. Okay, bye-bye.
God bless you.
No, you too, honey. Bye-bye. Okay, so let's get to my next question that I posed on Facebook. Did it end? Okay.
There we go.
Okay,
Whoop,
sorry.
whoop, sorry.
Thanks, Matt. The next question I would like to pose is, did I do ID be required for using an EBT card? Should ID be used for?
Oh, yes, and
did
I think so,
Okay, I
absolutely,
think so
yeah.
too. And a lot of people, one woman though, I'll tell you, one woman on the page was like, it's really, we need that money, and I know who these people are, and
Sure.
they've had a hard time. So she feels like I don't want to have to be made to show a debit card, the EBT card with ID because it makes me look like I'm disadvantaged or whatever.
Wow.
So I understand her thought process, but to weed out the people that are selling their
Right.
cards or giving them away or just doing whatever they do, buy tennis shoes and I'll give you that. Whatever goes on out there, which we have an idea.
Right.
Sometimes we're just going to have to take it until, we can clean out what's going on out there
Yeah.
with our tax money.
Yeah, exactly.
With
I
our
agree.
tax money.
There's plenty of things in life you have to show an ID for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Okay, the next question I had is, this was something I read off of the mission statement for the Manchester welfare. This is the vision statement and the mission statement from their department. Now, please, I may get inboxes saying, "Oh, I can't believe that you said that," but I'm going to say this. I'm going to read this and then I'm going to say what I'm going to say, okay? To improve the quality of life for those disadvantaged members of our community and to do so in the most professional and respectful manner. The Welfare Department provides emergency assistance to individuals and families who lack adequate resources. We are facilitators in that we direct the less fortunate citizens to relief agencies, federal, state, nonprofit, etc., therefore reducing the burden on our departmental budget and the Manchester taxpayers. We strive to promote self-reliance and independence in all we serve so they may become productive citizens. I love most of that.
Mm-hmm.
The hard part that I have is when we hear words like disadvantaged,
Yeah.
the disenfranchised, the poor, the
Those
needy.
they're disempowering
They're
words.
disempowering words.
Yes.
And I think that I'll tell you that when I've had to go to those offices and feel, being a food bank or whatever, feeling that shame almost of, I'm disadvantaged, I'm poor.
Right.
And I think that, anybody can be poor financially, but who are you as a person? Are you rich as a person?
Right.
Or are you playing the blame game, this is what happened, why can't somebody do this for me? Or are you going to stand up and say, you know what, I'm all done with this rat race and I'm going to find a way to make it on my own, because that's why we are in America,
Right.
so we can make it on our own. And that's what, where's your family from, Matt?
Germany and Ireland.
Okay, Germany and
Yeah.
Ireland. Mine is Germany, Irish, Ireland, and England.
Okay.
And my English ancestors came over 1620
Yeah.
in the Topsfield area. So I've got a whole length of people over there. And, of course, the potato famine in Ireland,
Yeah.
they came that way. Now, you do understand that Irish people were discriminated against.
Oh,
we
sure,
were called
yeah.
mixed and we couldn't get jobs
Oh, yeah,
in
yeah.
Boston. Okay,
Yeah.
just want to make sure you
Absolutely.
are aware of that, because we
Absolutely.
hear this discrimination thing. It's like
Yeah.
everybody's been discriminated against at one time or
Yeah.
another.
Well, I find it hard to believe. I mean, like you said, she sounded like a very sweet lady.
Yes,
but,
absolutely.
But she made it sound like she's lost all 5 jobs because of discrimination. I find that just statistically hard to believe.
Yeah, and I honestly don't think, maybe it's just me because I'm good-natured, that I
Mm-hmm.
don't think that people look at people that are black and go, I'm not going to hire you because you're black. I don't see that happening in
Yeah.
and I could get a phone call saying
Sure.
you are wrong.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, I think some people do. I think
of course.
I think that still goes on, but not everyone.
No.
And again, just statistically speaking, I find it hard to believe.
Well, I'm going to say this too, and I'm going to get some flack for this, but I will tell you that the feminist movement destroyed women today because of the movement. And of course, some of those things that they did were great. Their intentions were well, but because women are looked at in a different light today, we are treated differently. I am not a man, and I don't expect to be treated like a man. And because of the women, it's my right, it's this, it's
Sure.
that, it's all this stuff that goes on. I believe that hurt our society, because if you're a woman and you go into a police station and may need help, they look at you like you're crazy. They look at you like, whatever, next. You know, we're not taken seriously because women have, basically made themselves look bad because of that feminist movement that happened. There's more women out of the home. There's more children that don't have women at home, mothers taking care of them. So don't think I mean that I'm speaking specifically on issues, not
Sure.
a general statement. This is specific.
Sure.
That there are certain things that mothers should be home with their children.
Right.
And I know that, oh my gosh, the Hillary Clintons of the world, all those lovers are going to go, I can't believe she just said that. But guess what? When mothers are home with their children, you're going to find that the kids have less issues.
Oh, sure.
You know, and
Yeah.
we're missing parents today.
Yeah.
We are missing parents.
Well, there's a practical aspect to that too, though.
It's very
just in that
practical.
it's very hard now for a family to get by on one income.
Well, it is, but why is that? I mean, we could go back and see why is
Yeah.
that? Because women demanded to work.
Right.
I don't know. You know, I'm just making a statement that I
Yeah.
see that women are treated very poorly by the general public because, oh, well, here she comes, the bitch is here.
Right.
Excuse me, I shouldn't have said that. You know? And I don't,
probably not a
I
big
I
deal.
think maybe I should have been in the 20s or the 30s. I don't know, but that.
Oh, here we go. Here we
I
go.
might get some flack for that.
All right.
Okay.
You got it?
Yeah. Thanks. Hello. Welcome to the Maher Report.
Hi.
Hi.
The reason I'm calling is I just, your last caller mentioned something about discrimination and working as a bus driver, and mentioned working as a bus driver for a time in Manchester. And I just wanted to mention that there's definitely black individuals. In fact, there's a black woman that's been driving a bus in Manchester for years. She's great. She's wonderful. There are several Hispanic women that are driving the bus.
Yeah.
There's a couple gentlemen that one's from Croatia, one was from Russia, that came here as immigrants. So there's not discrimination as far as I can see going on in the Manchester Transit Authority's hiring policy.
Yeah.
It really doesn't appear that way to me as a passenger.
Well,
And secondly, I wanted to mention a scam that goes on with food stamps is that in some individuals collecting food stamps, they will go grocery shopping and buy things that they don't necessarily want. And then you go back to the store with those items, say for some reason, oh, my son is allergic to mushrooms in his food, and they buy a bunch of cans of mushroom soup as if they wouldn't know that they shouldn't do that.
Right.
And they return them at the counter, and they get the cash for it.
oh, interesting.
Yeah.
With that cash, you can buy, your imagination can run
Right.
wild when you can do
Whatever you want. Yeah.
Absolutely. How
Exactly.
interesting.
Yeah.
And
That's a big scam.
And I think that's the point that I'm trying to make is that we have set up a system to enable people to lie and to be distrustful. And so now we have this hatred for people that are on welfare. And I don't hate people that are on
Yeah.
welfare, but what I see is the system is
Right.
the blame
Yeah.
for this dishonesty and the
Yeah.
lying, because there's so much red tape and people, I
Yeah.
got to get this. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
game.
I'm glad to hear
It's
you.
a game.
I'm glad to hear you say that, though, that it's the system, because
I'm-
because a lot of people on the right politically kind of paint with a very broad brush. They just kind of demonize everybody who's on welfare. So I'm
yeah.
glad to hear you say that.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I look at people that are on assistance and I see there is no reason. I know that when I was a little girl, let me tell you something, I
Yeah.
had a dream. okay? And throughout my life, things happened. Sometimes bad things, sometimes good things.
Yeah.
But things happen in life where maybe we weren't able to
Right.
reach that dream.
Right.
But now I can look back and go, you know what? I still want that dream.
Yeah.
So I don't believe that anybody who's sitting home on food stamps, welfare, and is, in the system that is a crazy thing that goes on,
Yeah.
doesn't have a dream for themselves.
Right.
But they don't know how to get out of it.
Right.
Because the system will keep you locked.
Oh, sure,
It'll keep
yeah.
you locked in so you feel helpless. And
People
it's the
become
only-
complacent
And
and
it's the only
comfortable,
place you
yeah.
can go, and it's the first of the month again, I got to go get my check,
Yeah.
and it's gone by the third.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a joke, but
No, I know what you
mean,
mean, yeah.
but so I think that for me, as just seeing people, I don't look at them that way, and I really don't think the right really looks at them that way.
Some do.
Some do, but I'm not really sure if this issue, for a whole board of directors in Concord, and I think this person's
He's
still on the phone.
still on the
Okay,
line, yeah.
for a whole board of directors to go through Medicaid, applicants, that's a waste of taxpayers' money. When you're
Yeah.
saying, if I meet this financial guideline, I should be able to get Medicaid
Right.
without government telling me that I have to go to their doctor to be checked out.
Yeah.
I have to tell them I'm depressed. I have to tell them this. I have to tell them that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
If I meet that guideline financially, I should be able to get
Right.
Medicaid. Period.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, caller, thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
have
you.
a good day. Okay, bye-bye. So, yeah. Did that go off? 'Cause
I think so.
I am just...
Yeah, call in.
Okay,
yeah, you're
great.
all set. Yeah.
So what were we talking about? Oh, yes. Okay. So, so those demeaning terms we talked about.
Yeah,
All right. Okay.
yeah.
Because I'm thinking about my Facebook page here, and then this caused some controversy today. Why is there higher crime rate with those with low income than others?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I think people with lower income are more likely to give into the temptations to steal, and you see it in the inner cities, where where kids they don't see any other way out but then to say sell drugs, and so that's lack of they say money is the root of all evil. It's actually lack of money that's the root of all evil, because lack of money is what leads to crime.
Now, is this the same person that called a second ago?
I don't know.
Okay, hold on. Okay. Hi, welcome to the Maher Report.
Yes, hi. I'm calling back because I want to apologize. The bus driving jobs never fired me. I'm just saying I had 5 different jobs
Okay.
within 2 years. But I love the statement because all of Manchester Transit, Londonderry, all those people have treated me great. I met the nicest people. I was trying to make the point about the Medicaid and the food stamps
Yeah.
because it says on the TV topic welfare. So I apologize because all the bus driving jobs I've had, driving the transit bus, everybody's been swell.
Okay.
You know what?
Okay.
You're a really nice
No,
lady.
None of them fired me.
Okay.
Good, and you
Well,
know
we're
what?
glad
None
you
of
called
them
back.
fired me, okay?
All right, you
Okay.
have a great evening, and write your legislator with your problems with what's going on, okay?
It was just a couple of other things, and it was about the welfare issue. I really wanted to make a point
Okay.
of me doing good or trying to get a better person in life, too. And you're right. Everybody have been discriminated. My friend from Brazil, she said she was being, and she went back to Brazil, and she had a nursing job making good money. So I understand. Okay? Forgive me if I spend it
Oh,
any
no,
wrong
you're a
and said the
sweetheart.
wrong thing.
You have a wonderful evening, and good luck to you.
You too. God bless
Okay,
you.
all
Bye-bye.
right, bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. I'm glad she called back.
I'm glad she called
yeah.
back, too, because,
Yeah.
we don't want to put it out there like, oh, she thought she was being discriminated against.
Right, right,
You
yeah.
don't want anyone to...
Yeah.
All right, so, what else did I have? Oh, now this gets philosophical.
Okay.
In a court of law, the people cannot use the disease of addiction as a defense. So why is our government giving benefits to active alcoholics and drug addicts? And this became a bit philosophical today on Facebook, where people are like, what are you trying to say, that we shouldn't give money to drug addicts and alcoholics? I'm just making a statement. I don't know the answer to this.
Yeah.
Because clearly there are people that have mental illness with the
Right.
addiction. So there's dual diagnosis that goes on. So I can't make that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
made a statement and it caused a lot of controversy
really?
on my. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I'm just asking a question.
Right.
I'm not saying that this is good, bad, or indifferent. But I'll tell you that in Valley Street, 90% of the women in there are there for drug charges.
Mm-hmm.
They're in there, sitting in there, waiting. And so are they Do you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
You know, what is the charges, and are they going to go to jail or prison, or
Right.
you know, what's happening with that? Can they use the disease of alcoholism? They can't.
Right.
They can't use it as a defense, because if they broke the law, that's what the law says.
Right.
You can go in and say, well, we're going to get her treatment, we're going to send her to a halfway house, or you know, whatever the case may be. But you know, what is the clear answer to help? And I don't mean, because I'm a woman, it's the only reason I'm saying a woman. Obviously, men have drug problems as well. But I do want to share a story before we go, just
Sure.
because I like personal stories, because I think it's important that people identify with the laws. And I'm going to tell a story about a woman that is in Valley Street right now. This woman is from Manchester, over near the Lake Ave area. She is in her late 30s, and as a child, her mother was a heroin addict. And she lived up there on the Lake Ave. As a child, she was hurt very badly by men,
Yeah.
if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into any detail on that. Her mother would leave her alone. She would actually walk into people's houses and steal food. Okay, this is
Yeah.
something that happened. She was at the police station many, many times as a child. And they would bring her into the police station, here's so-and-so, call the mother. The mother would come in drunk or high, pick her up, and go home. Now, where was social services for this girl? I don't know.
Yeah.
Where, you know, what happened here?
Yeah.
At 15, she was on her own, working on her own, had a son, was in an abusive relationship for a while, and has been working.
Yeah.
Last year, the trauma of what happened to her as a child came up. And she walked into people's homes and stole gold and pawned the money so she could buy whatever she needed.
Right.
Okay? She was charged with this crime. Never had a criminal record at all.
Yeah.
Not once. And so now she's up for 4 years in prison for doing this. And I'm thinking, gosh, you know, is this a story that needs to be told? Because the system is supposed to be in place for these kinds of situations.
Right.
And how many situations do we know that this happens?
Right.
And nothing is done.
Yeah.
And then they end up in jail or prison or whatever because of something that happened. It's really kind
sure.
of gets psychological in the whole thing. But
Yeah.
at the same time, this woman needed help when she was 3 years old. She
Yeah.
needed help when she was at birth.
Exactly.
Are you kidding me? So she's a great lady, great mother. She's been Mother of the Year, I believe, with her teenage son.
Yeah.
So these are the things that I look at and I go, gosh, you know, this is injustice. And I don't like injustice.
No. People fall through the cracks.
They fall through the cracks, exactly. So we have, how many more minutes do we have, Matt, before we...
5.
Oh, we got 5 minutes, okay. So let me get into this. This is something from the application for welfare.
Yeah.
Do not give false information or hide information to get or continue to get benefits. Are you kidding me? Do you, honestly,
That seems like common sense.
it may be common sense, but you know what happens all the time? And who's
sure.
monitoring, who's giving false information, or
Right.
going to people's homes, seeing if they don't have 6 people living there all getting welfare?
Right. Yeah.
I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Okay, do not trade or sell food stamp benefits to anyone who is not authorized to use them for your household. Okay, we know that that is happening
Mm-hmm. Oh,
all
yeah.
the time. And who
Of course.
is regulating that? Who's making sure these things don't happen?
Right.
Don't know. Do not use food stamps do not use food stamp benefits to buy ineligible items such as alcoholic drinks and tobacco. Well, we do know that the crime rate is high in these areas with the food stamp area, you know, with people that get food stamps, and they're buying alcohol, drugs, and tobacco. We just heard that caller from...
Oh, of course,
from
yeah.
Mar-
Yeah.
So, you know, how are they getting the money to buy these things if they're not selling food stamps? What's happening there? And who's monitoring this? Do not use any benefits your household was not entitled to receive. Anyone convicted of making a fraudulent statement or representation with respect to identity or residence in order to receive benefits in 2 locations at the same time will be ineligible for financial assistance and food stamps benefits for 10 years. So if you are caught, you are now off for 10 years,
Yeah.
which is fine, but who's monitoring this to see if it happens? I would like to know cases where people are actually taken off because they're caught.
Sure.
You know, I do know that there was a woman that was in Valley Street for welfare fraud. She was in Illinois collecting and then collecting here.
Yeah.
And she flew in for some reason, and I can't remember what happened, but basically they arrested her, and she was in there for welfare fraud. But
Yeah.
that was found in another state.
Right.
So I'm not really sure. I can't give all the details because that wouldn't, if I don't know all the facts, I'm not going to say the facts. But
Yeah, maybe some of the resources that are used to engineer the whole system with all the bureaucratic red tape you have to go through just to get help. Maybe some of those resources were put toward making sure that this fraud and abuse doesn't happen.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. All right, let's take one more
You
call.
have time?
Hi, welcome to the Maher Report.
Yes, good evening. I'm calling from Manchester.
Okay.
My name is Deborah.
Hi, Deborah.
And I'm calling because this is my pet peeve here
Okay.
of this welfare program, the way we do it in New Hampshire with the EBT card.
Uh-huh.
My peeve is that here we have the food banks screaming for food because we have so many people who have no food in the state. So we have to feed them through the food bank so that the recipients of the EBT can, like this little debit card that they all have, so then they can fill up their grocery cart with their mother's food or their aunt's food or whatever, so that they can get the cash
Yep.
from their mother or their family member or a friend or whatever. So now they've got cash. They're getting their food from the food bank, and we're contributing there because, we think that we're doing good.
Yep.
And now they're taking their food, EBT benefit for food, and cashing it in for cash by their relatives. That has got to stop.
Well,
And
how
I
about
hope that the legislators are listening to this.
you
That
know
is
what?
the biggest fraud in this state is that EBT card.
I'm going to encourage you to write your legislator. Whoever your legislator is, I want you to write them a letter.
We gotta
Send them
wrap
an
up.
email. We have to wrap up right now, but please send your legislator, whoever it is, an email. And we have to close up, but thank you for your call.
Okay, I just want people to know that fact. Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you
Thank you.
so much. Okay, we have to close up. This is Cheryl Maher with the Maher Report. Thanks, Matt, for being on the show.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
Godspeed, everyone, and please let's hear your voice. Thank you.
Absolutely.